Welcome to another episode of the Parasite podcast with me, Daniel Lay, the Managing Director of the Eminent Group, and Megan Smith, our Commercial Director.
Hello.
And now today we are joined by one of our favourite Irish clients, Mr. TJ Morris from Fabrite, based out in Ireland.
Thank you, Donnie, Megan, for having me on. Thank you.
Worries. How are you? A bit nervous?
I'm
He is nervous.
a bit nervous for once. So,
I know, hence the 3 beers on the table. Just thought, listen, there'll be shots
I'm one
out
of the
whenever.
boys today.
it's not very regularly I'm nervous, but unfortunately this occasion I am.
Don't worry about it. Well, listen, you're in good hands, and obviously Jacob here from the Liverpool Podcast Studios always looks after us. So thanks very much again, Jacob. Just want to say thanks as well to everyone who's been following us and watching
Tuning
the podcast, tuning in, and
Not getting bored of us.
not getting bored of us.
You may be bored after this one. You may
Tune
come
off.
back on.
Well, listen, we're going to start off with you, T.
Yeah.
But is it TJ, you prefer, or Trevor?
I thought you were going to leave at the end for one of them
No,
trick
no,
questions.
no,
I heard
listen,
it was Trevor James.
It's more than that, actually. It's Trevor James Paul
Paul Morris.
But,
Oh, fair enough. We haven't got time for that. We'll just stick to TJ.
stick to TJ.
We'll stick to TJ.
Trevor's the party name, but
So, okay, well, listen, let's start with yourself. Let's talk about, obviously, how old are you now?
26. Yeah.
26, and you're the commercial director over at Fabrite.
Yep.
Eminent and Fabrite have been working for a couple of years now together, but obviously we're used to on the same show. It's a bit like Battle of the Commercial Directors here, so we're just going to find out.
And we hated each other for a little bit, didn't we?
I'll not say anything too much.
I think that happens naturally with commercial directors. But listen,
does.
we're going to start off from the beginning, T. Let's talk about, going your school days and stuff. What was it like? What was you like in school, and what were your ambitions?
To be honest, as most people say in school, like you don't really know what you want to do or where you want to go in life. But as just a young lad growing up in Northern Ireland, went to high school, nothing special. Done my GCSEs, and I think I done all right in my GCSEs. To be honest, passed most of them.
Well done.
Most of them, I know.
I was going to say it's more than I got.
Yeah, but and then obviously I play a bit of rugby, so I decided that I'll go to a rugby school for my A levels.
Okay.
A rugby school?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, well, an all boys school, so it was a bit different. But went there, done my A levels, played a bit of rugby, and then it was sort of getting into the serious stages of upper sixth.
Yeah.
University, or do you want to go to tech, or do you want to go and do an apprenticeship or do a trade or whatever. But again, finished school, done my A levels, didn't do overly great again. So I said to myself, frigate, what am I going to do? So I decided to go into construction. Didn't really know much about it, to tell you the truth. Done an HND in tech for 2 years. Again, sort of took the piss a wee bit, drinking out, messing about. But sure, you do that at that age anyway. And then in my second year of my HND, there was a job opportunity came up as a junior quantity surveyor, working, helping out the commercial team, obviously at Fabrite. Again, funny story. I actually done health and safety and environmental for my work placement in tech. So I went to a main contractor in Northern Ireland and sat for 2 weeks, learned about health and safety and environmental conditions and all this green environments. Yeah, correct. So anyway, this came up and I googled what's quantity surveying. Honestly, I had the clue. I had the clue what I wanted to do, and obviously my rugby career, I wasn't going to make it in the professional game, so I just googled what's a quantity surveyor, and it came up saying basically looks after money, pricing jobs, the commercial end of things, stuff like that there. And then I says, frigate, I'll go and give it a go. So I went for an interview basically and got it. And ever since I've been there, it's coming up to 6 years here in April, and opportunities have arisen or happened in the place, and just basically work my way up,
Yeah.
It's,
See, I never knew that you'd been at Fabrite from the for the beginning of your construction career.
Beginning of my construction career, yeah, basically. So it's 6 years ago. It's hard to believe, so it is, to be honest. But done that, and then just worked my way up really. And listen, every day's learning day. It's when you've got people like you on my back looking money. It's a bit of a hard game. But no, listen, it's where life's taken me basically, and people say life is planned out for you.
The thing is with Fabrite and ourselves, obviously we work in slightly different. You're very similar to Angie, who we had on previously, Angie Kenny. You do with a lot of like tier ones, frameworks, contractors. You're at the top end of obviously the construction you do a lot of steel work and stuff like that. You've got your own factory, and you know, you do all the
Well,
fabrication.
most of the reason, or most of our customers and jobs come from clients like them because we offer a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we complete the design and things in-house. You know,
Yeah.
fabrication's done in-house, the install, things like that. So literally the client tenders the package to Fabrite, we win the job, and basically it's just handed over.
Yeah, just
risk
from
free,
start to finish.
basically,
that.
you know. But yeah, most try to stay. Yes, we do work for tier ones, but try to stay away from them as much as we can.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well, we've had this conversation with the tier one thing. It's on the outside of things, a bit like me with Angie and yourself. We look at it and think, wow, you know. But I think we had a conversation with Angie about basically saying it looks great, but sometimes you can overshoot it and it can cause a lot of not issues. They're
Headache?
they're very commercial.
yeah, that's what I was
aren't they?
going to say.
Yeah, it's
Megan,
just
they're
headaches.
very
Headache.
contractual.
Yeah.
And they're fair. You know what I find? I don't really want to speak out of turn, but
But here we go.
Yeah, but I will.
but here we
Cash out.
go. Basically, you know, when you're pricing the job and you know you're trying to get the job, they're all
Yeah.
nice. You know,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want you to do a job, Fabrite, use your this, use your that. You're going to do this nice there, and then when you get to the site end of things, like the whole picture changes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you're delaying the project, yet you've held up drawings for 4 weeks, and they're just trying to cut you from below. You know,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they're not trying to screw you for money, they're trying to screw you on program, and like,
Yeah.
it is hard, and especially in my role, I'm trying to be faces of estimating,
Yeah.
and then when I go to live on site, it's 2 different TJs, and then when we
Yeah.
finish the job live on site, I'm now back to the nice
Yeah.
TJ wins
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
job, and
Yeah.
it's quite hard, and that's just tier ones. But listen, we've been very lucky enough with main contractors, mostly in Northern Ireland, who aren't very aggressive, sort of old school business people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, come on. Put
Are they
your
more
ha-
like family-run businesses like
They,
that?
they, they would be, but
Yeah.
they're all working in London. Obviously, that's where the
Yeah.
money is, and you know, they put because we're a local supply chain to them. They put the arm around you and go, "Frig's sake, give us a
Yeah.
pull out of this job," or you know, "We need you to do this," or there's you know, basically that in that regards. But yeah, that's fun and games.
Yeah, well, I have obviously you're similar to us with your social media and stuff. You know, you're on LinkedIn quite prominently.
I'm the social media content maker,
Yeah.
by the way. So
One
it's
of the
not
many
overly great.
hats
So,
of TJ.
If you need any
yes,
tips,
a round of applause.
if you need any TikToks of anyone dancing around, TJ's.
TJ's the man. He's a good
TJ's
dancer.
no.
But there is a project that you've got ongoing at the moment, which is in the Titanic
Yeah.
Expedition Centre, which
Yeah.
we've seen a few pictures of, and that looks unbelievable.
Unreal.
By the way, you
Yeah.
know the staircase that you're doing in there. I know he's got a strong history over you know.
Well, it's funny you say that. We have got a bit of a history book in regards to projects. You know, we've worked on high prestigious projects. You know,
Yeah.
like the Royal Ballet in Birmingham. We put a new extension on that roof while it was live. Shaftesbury Theatre again, something similar. What else was there? Imperial War Museum. We done and basically a main contract, a new build for their all their artifacts and things, and it was actually a passive house, and I think it actually won an award. But the Titanic is a bit of a special one for us because we don't really work back home
Yeah.
Yeah.
because obviously the money's quite tight. But we were, I think it was 5 contractors, you know, on the list or the preferred contractor list, and they phoned us up and said, "Listen, with this job for Titanic, they've saved this money for 10 years and wanting to upgrade the galleries and things." And when you hear that there, you're in against probably other big enough player, and you're sort of thinking, "Frig it, we'll give it a price,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we don't know if we're going to get it." And frig hours and hours and went into that tender, and we actually did finally get it. But I think we got it because our expertise in the architectural, because the feature staircase was the main
Yeah,
view
the
of
main
this.
part of the
Yeah.
package. Yeah.
And we knew by how we were going to do it. It was fabricated in house. It was controlled, things like
Yeah.
that, and we finally got it. So I think the job was about 1.5 million, and we've done it in 12 weeks.
Nice, very
Amazing.
nice.
So
Very good.
stressful, challenging, and listen, credit goes out to the team. You know, the guys, Nigel, Scotty, all them boys, like they've really stuck in and pushed it through. But one for the portfolio is the
Yeah,
same.
no,
and,
I can't wait to see the
100%.
pictures
It looks
when it's
unreal.
finished.
we're actually over in Wet. We've got invited to the it's like before the public goes in on Saturday. All the
Oh,
contractors
yeah.
have been invited in for tomorrow and Thursday. So that's what I'm going to on Thursday morning and taking Tiffany around, seeing it and things. So hopefully, hopefully there's not too many snags and we're going to enjoy it.
I'm assuming,
embarrassed.
I'm assuming there's going to be quite a lot of coverage and quite a lot of like media around this, around this expedition centre and the work that's being
listen,
taken. So I suppose
Titanic is one of the biggest tourism attractions in the world. You know, obviously you know of the Titanic. Well, I don't really know too much about it because I didn't really like history at school, but I know it's I know it's in Belfast and a lot of foreign tourism come and like that we had to, when we were tendering the job as well, back to work, that we had to give them like what the uplift Titanic was going to pay to cover, obviously, from them not getting the public and things in and whatnot. So like it's multi-millions of pounds of revenue they're losing for doing this, but it's obviously to generate growth in Northern Ireland and the economy and things like that. But yeah, we're near there, and hopefully on Thursday I can give it a thumbs up.
Lovely. Now, Eminent and Fabrite. Now, I'm just trying to think, was you on board before or after we got involved with Fabrite?
No.
Was it after? Was it? It was after, wasn't it?
Danny was on his own.
Yeah, I thought it was.
One-man band.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, we're going to go into this conversation because I think it's important for new businesses and new companies that are trying to set themselves out, in this engineering game at the moment, it's a tough game, to be fair. Our interaction and our very first meeting together kind of sets up a little bit of a thing where you kind of don't know who you're working with and you're just given an opportunity. And I always say with myself, I'm a bit of an opportunist.
Yeah,
and there was an opportunity where I'd messaged you a few times on LinkedIn and I think I spoke to you and...
Was he ignoring you? I feel like he was.
I don't know what the cue was or Megan to say when to say it.
Yeah, well, at the time, it was
And,
Eminent Recruitment, you see.
Yeah,
so
it
I know
was,
when people were looking at the brand thing and recruitment, no, thank you very much, I'm all right.
You just get the
Maybe it was
message and you
you.
go...
Maybe it was like your picture.
No, it's
Maybe
definitely
thought
There was a
Yeah.
selfie in the bathroom, with no hat on, no hair.
No, it was definitely the weird recruitment, hence why we ended up getting rid of it out of the company. But the interaction came out of I think you'd been let down from another contractor on a site local. It was a bit short notice.
Shock.
Shock, yeah. Every
Still the same with
lastminute.com,
Fabrite.
yeah.
Sure, that's just this industry. It
is
you
this
can't just
industry.
blame me.
It was a last minute job. Someone had messed up a job local to, I think it was Southport.
Yeah.
Now I remember being given that opportunity. And I think you probably know at that time, well, you certainly know now that I didn't have the labour at that time to do this job. I think it was maybe a day or two.
No, it was a couple of days' work. I was putting up a canopy.
A canopy, yeah, but it had already been fitted and
stuff.
someone had knocked the brickwork down and it needed cutting and
We'll
welding
not
and
go into
stuff.
that.
And I didn't want to let... I got the response back and I thought, I don't want to let this slip. Didn't know what it was going to lead into, but I thought I've got to try and do me utmost here to try and impress. Now, this is why I say to companies starting out, you've got to take these little jobs and just treat them as a big job and try and do your best, and people will obviously see what you're trying to do, or will appreciate your workmanship a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember going and we done the job and we got it signed off and the communication was pretty good and whatever, and we helped you out in a jam. And then straight from that, we started getting some decent packages from you for
Well, I want to say
labour.
with one thing you said there, how hard you work in the background. I find this industry, it's about meeting client expectations.
Yeah.
And what you do on site is who you rep. Your name is, Danny Day, Eminent Group or Eminent Recruitment, whatever it was, and you went and helped me out in that job.
Yeah.
You handed it over. Okay, the client was a bit grumpy, but I goes, Frank, well, we'll maybe give this guy another shout.
Yeah,
and that's what you said. So it's definitely about client expectations and delivering that, and that's what you've done. Hence, obviously, what you're going to go into here is repeat work, hopefully, and things like that.
I think it must have been 2017, 2018, probably around that time. Maybe 2018, 2019, I think that job was.
Why have you wrote that in your hand?
He was getting tattooed.
I even looked at I wrote it on the hand here.
It's tattooed in the rose.
TJ responded to me.
I don't. I normally have a script. I normally get that nervous. I have a script. I'm like, that read me script.
I've been having the script in my head for the last 2 nights in bed, trying to think what I'm going to speak about.
But
yeah, we started getting some more inquiries, and at that time it was just the labour only. And I remember doing a couple of jobs. We done a couple down in London for and then we done. I think there's another one in Reading There was one in Reading that we'd done for Nigel, and it was like a load of door plates and stuff like that.
Aye, Longwater Avenue.
Longwater,
yes,
yeah, the
yes, there was
doors
a
were
bit- there
catching
was-
and stuff like that.
There was a bit of welding and stuff
Yeah,
on
just-
site needed done, yep.
Easy work again,
Yeah.
but once again, just trying to deliver the project, be good on the communication, and give the client exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
No stress, basically.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, but as the
This man's caused me plenty of stress, guys. Don't be fooled by the cameras, please.
But as the years have gone on, obviously we've done more and more projects together.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, you've seen our company grow into from a basic recruitment company where I've the job in Southport where I didn't have labour. I actually went myself and actually done it with one of the lads because
That's right,
I didn't want to let you down as a client.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen us move a little bit into just a recruitment company, and then when we started doing the installs on the fixed price, I know that was favoured from yourself because you like to hold people to fixed prices.
No, well, I like fixed prices, and then you get a load of day works and variations through, and it's just a whole fighting match. But no, listen, that's
and then obviously with the fabrication now, we've been in talks together with different projects, and
Yep.
you know where we are. I don't think we have actually we've done a couple of
We
fabrications.
did.
you done a
we've
job
done
down
bits.
Loughborough for
Yeah,
us.
we've done Loughborough, the
all
balustrades and stuff.
Yeah, balustrades, yeah.
So I think we've got this. At the moment, it's been at the moment it's a good relationship. We're quite
What
a
do you
young.
mean at the moment? Is it going to get worse
Well, no,
or something?
it never used
not,
to. Well, it
not.
never used to be this good. To be fair,
No,
which
it
we're going to
used to
go
be
into,
awful.
But when we talk about the three of us now, you've got two commercial directors who are extremely young, who are dealing with multi-million-pound projects.
Yeah.
And obviously, myself trying to get things off the ground. I think the three of us at the moment have got a bit of an appreciation for what each other's trying to do and the type of works.
Yeah.
But let's just.
But
go
it was never like
it was
that. It's not always been like that.
Yeah, it was never.
Why, Megan?
It was never ever smooth with us to start off with, because I remember when we started doing the fixed price installations. Once you do that and the pressure's on you, and it's we're going to fit works that yous had done, and then there was issues, not your fault, not our fault. Someone surveyed it wrong. We even had a job where I think the whole set of drawings were wrong and all the flight stairs were incorrect. And I think it was Loughborough.
Yep.
And it becomes a commercial issue. Now, Megan hates me for this, but I am too. If there's one thing I could change about myself, it's my emotion and how I control it. When I'm putting in extras,
I know all about that.
He's been in the office for half a day. He's seen it.
Oh, guys. We'll not talk about that, but a few Friday nights have been in the office late, just
arguing.
Danny lay down the phone, giving me a long
Screaming.
chief.
Yeah,
Get this sorted.
but we do, and
that's
it's a
nice,
very
yeah.
important lesson of how you deal with it. And I'll hold me
I
hands
think
up.
that was before we actually met.
Well, I think the
because
meeting.
he still thought you were a bit of an idiot
Oh,
before you
we did.
met.
We did. Yeah. That was one of the main reasons I wanted to come over, because we'd had a few jobs and things had gone wrong, like they do on every site. You can't gain access, or you can't do this, and things don't.
Scaffolding,
Silly stuff like that. And the extras we were doing at that time, 3 or 4 jobs for you at the same time. And it was extras here, extras there, and obviously Meg was just coming into working with us when it started really getting a bit messy. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I remember putting in like all the accounts, and it was like, you won't get that. And I was just like, well, I'm just losing money. And I kind of took it really personal. And that we've spoken about it plenty of times. And I was like, is this fella just fucking taking my pants down here? Like, I need to go like...
Assess fair and reasonable, Don. That's why. That's not personal, man. It's just
I know. And do you know what? And I think this is a very important lesson that I learned, and which something that I've continued to try and do is... Talking to someone on the phone and over emails, over money and packages and stuff is a very dangerous concept, because I'm putting in stuff for money to gain money.
Yeah.
And your job is to protect your business and your company and try and cut the limitation, the damage where you can.
Yeah.
There's going to be that clash.
Yeah.
I'm a young lad who's quite emotional about my business. Everyone knows that. I hold my hands up. You're a young lad who's got your business. You're doing extremely well at the company.
Well, I would like to be honest with you, I'm the same. I take things a bit personal, and you have to try to take yourself away from
We do really bad.
the personal. Like, it's not a personal attack. It is only business at the end of the day. But like, there's nights there I could be wanting to send nasty emails, and I could just go the wrong way completely.
This is why I've got Meg.
You have my number, Lucy. You don't have to send emails.
I just phoned you.
Exactly.
Are you taking the piss again?
Not on record.
But now
I didn't say that.
but now with Megan's more, because she's more commercial, and no disrespect to Meg, but the way she loves this business, but I'm too emotional. When Meg doesn't have that emotional ties to it.
Like, you can step away and then let Megan
so
deal with it, and
bad
then
cop,
she
good
can.
cop kind of works.
Yeah.
But coming over to have a drink with you and sit down and try and discuss the options was probably one of the best moves that we've done as a business. And it might sound really stupid, going to meet someone face to face and having a beer.
Or 10.
Or 10.
There was definitely 10.
It was definitely 10, yeah. There's definitely a few shots.
Oh, well, I didn't buy them. It must have been you.
Oh, no, you didn't buy them.
Looks like it's my round tonight.
Yeah, it's on you tonight. But I think that's a valuable lesson that any young company who's trying to, make moves, your little one-man bands, or you've got 2 or 3 guys working for you, the main thing you need to take from it is always try and do your best and just try and, do the best by your clients. That's who you're representing. And when things don't go your way, I think I spoke about the thing with Angie where that didn't go our way, and there's 2 ways you can deal about it. You can either tell everyone to fuck off and never deal with this again. I don't want to speak to you, and take it really to another level where you as a business, Megan she gets on my case for, she's like, you don't, like, we need to work on this, and which I'm getting better
No,
at.
you're not.
I am a little bit better. I'm getting a
Well,
little
sure,
bit.
you phoned earlier and goes, where's each plates? And you said, oh, they're ordered in the box section at the back. Don't worry about it. You don't even know you have the job.
No, but I'm getting better at dealing with the clients and getting on this like level of how this is how business at this level works.
Yeah.
And that's for
Networking
me.
down.
Yeah, that I think that's an important thing for anyone starting a business is when things don't go your way. I would recommend sitting down with the person that you're dealing with, looking them in the eye, go for a drink and talking, because since that day, I have had a whole different respect for you.
Yeah.
I missed me. I was in Ireland. I drove from Dublin. I missed me train. You come and collected me.
I'm an hour and a half, guys.
An hour and a half drive on a Friday.
Where is it?
I called it Drogheda.
I called it drug tree earlier.
And then he went, you mean Drogheda? And I went, no, Drogheda. I was going to hate you. And he went, yeah, it's Drogheda. And he went, I'll come
So I
and
had
get
to
you.
drive an hour and a half. They left them in the train station and then come the whole way back to mine, get changed, and I went.
You did.
I remember him FaceTiming me going, guess where I am? And I was like, where? He was like, in TJ's spare bedroom.
That's right. And he put the Eminent top down in my bed.
Earlier that week, he was like, oh, TJ, like any email that come through from you, he was raging. And then he was like, I'm just in his spare room. And I was like, right, okay, nice.
Best mates.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? You went out your way. You come and got me. You drove out an hour and a half.
I know our choice.
Basically 3 hours to come and
choice.
get me, but to bring me back to your home where your family is. You know what I mean? You looked after
Dangerous.
me. Very dangerous, yeah. But it worked out in the end. But obviously, I had to take the opportunity of putting the Eminence t-shirt on your bed. I thought that was quite funny.
Did you
myself.
take it home or did you leave it for him?
No, I took it. I was wearing it, but I took it off to get a
He
shower.
wore it out that night to Belfast. He was branding it that much. God, I work for the MD for Ellen.
Do you
not know me?
I was around Belfast dancing with my Eminence
You
t-shirt.
give me the ear.
I'm horrendous. I'm horrendous.
No, he
no.
only wore it all week working.
What do they call that? What do they call it? Networking.
Is that what they call it?
That's
Yeah.
what networking.
That's a professional one.
6 bottles of Jameson's later, I'm still networking.
Scumbag.
Yeah, I was absolutely. But no, I think that was an important, a massive turning point in what the three of us are trying to achieve. And I think since then, things have been a lot smoother,
We've
a
all
lot
been
easier.
friends, haven't we?
I think we have. Yeah, I think it's a lot better.
better.
And to be honest with you, I know you prefer dealing with Megan now. Well, her, you know what I mean?
Because
Megan.
you don't phone me because you're in love. That's right. If I shake every time Danny he falls in love, he gets
He just
he's
ignores.
off. Where's
Yeah,
he's in my
same.
bed. He's not in the day. He's on the lion.
It's having a lion, that's the main
It's okay,
one
I'll
now.
talk to the proper person.
Well,
Yeah,
it's got to that
Thanks.
point now, but I think.
I'm only joking, by the way.
No,
You're
I
not in
think you're
love.
right. And to be honest with you,
What, you're in love?
No, do
You
not
better
put
hear
that
first.
anywhere. No. Do not put that anywhere.
Well,
Jacob, make sure you edit that out. I am not in love.
You just agreed that you're
No,
in love.
no.
You did.
Right.
I'll tell her that.
No, piss off. But
Don't
no,
tell
I
her
think,
that.
truthfully, I think, that's one of them things that it's
No,
turned
definitely, I
around.
agree, Donna. You have to meet your client or
Yeah.
your customer, whoever it is, face to face, and eyeball in the eye, and that's how you gain trust. And you can negotiate. Sometimes no doubt down the line we'll have another discussion that you owe me this and I owe you that, and I'm going no, but we can come meet up. This is how I assess it, and then just shake
Well, I
hands.
remember you
and move on,
showing me all the details, and you were like, "Listen, this is not from me, but I've got to claim this against my client, who's got to then offset it against." And it was just a bit of a chain. And when you're in that
And
moment,
Danny turns around and goes, "Well, that's not my issue. That's for you."
that's a you issue.
That's
But it's
your
about the
problem.
bigger picture, isn't it? And I think if you can both understand that you're both just trying to protect business, and we all are. And
Yeah.
and
I think there's a
And
happy
if we can
medium.
make a few quid between it,
Happy
happy days.
days,
That's why
few
we're here at the
beers.
end of the
And the
day.
way that we compensate it now is we charge him more than we would. Knowing he's going to knock us down.
Do any of my clients or subcontractors watching this, don't do that any further, please.
No,
I know the market rate.
we can get away with it because it's us.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
well,
Yeah,
say
we are
nothing,
lovable in
say
that way.
nothing.
So what? Now you're at Fabrite. You've been there, what, say 6 years now.
6 years here in April the 1st, yep.
And he's a
April's
winning-
Fool's Day,
Yeah.
April
actually.
the 1st.
I
as if
know,
you
I know.
He's
I
winning
know.
bigger and bigger contracts. Obviously,
Listen, we're a big way of going, but we're trying to. It's a family-run business,
Yeah.
or it was a family-run business, and we're just trying to. You don't need to be doing, massive turnover, because obviously you want to be doing good jobs, good money, what you control,
Yeah.
and do stuff what you're good at. We found in the past where we've got burnt is doing probably more than what we should have, losing
Taking
money,
too
Yeah.
much on, yeah.
and then upsetting clients and things like that. Where our background is structural steel and architectural metalwork, which we
stick to that,
thrive
yeah.
on. So just stick to that. If we can do anything else to help clients out, a wee bit of flashing here and there, then
Yeah.
fair enough. But nothing on massive turnover or revenue, But no, things are going well. Talk about a recession and things
Well,
like
I
that.
was
but
going to come to that
I
because
don't know if it's happening or
Well,
'cause-
we've had this conversation, obviously, where are we now? We're into basically the end of February. And I think, both of us have bothly said that the industry at the moment is really busy. There's a lot of stuff happening. I think last year we tendered for about £7 million worth of work and we converted it into about 394 million worth of sales. This year we're up to £3 million in
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
And it's rapid, but what we're getting now is just a lot of jobs on hold.
That's what I was going to say. How you finding clients' feedback and updates, when you
it's
try
slowing
stuff?
down a little bit,
yeah.
Like the jobs are there, but it's just getting someone to raise them POs and say, listen, there's
Go
jobs
ahead,
are going.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it comes right from the very, very top. And I think
Yeah.
everyone's a little bit cautious. Like we spoke about, the companies going bust. Metna and also Tolland, who
yeah.
we were on a site with, who we worked with you on. These are companies who are absolutely huge. And I think everyone, when a big company goes under, I think everyone looks around. Obviously, you do a lot of sub work for them, then obviously we sub to you. And it's a bit like everyone's looking around thinking, okay, let's just slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's just find out what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment there's a bit of a nervousness in the industry, and everyone's a bit
I
touchy.
I know what you're saying, but I suppose it is a nervousness, but it's just, as you said, it's the POs and getting things agreed and getting. But we're fighting also, guys, as design teams from the client end, that don't want to make a decision and they want to pass all the risk on to us.
Yeah.
And it's just it's getting a hard game.
Well,
out
this
there
is
to
something
do,
that
like,
I'm learning. For the first time this year, we've had a couple of jobs now because we're now doing the design and stuff like that, which is the first time we've ever done that because obviously, we're trying to expand and try and get up to a level where we can compete with, some of our clients and stuff.
You'll become
Do
a
you mean
competitor
Fabrite?
here soon. He said,
feel like it was
he
going.
said that in a nice round way. didn't he?
Obviously, we don't work.
Just cut the podcast now.
We don't
Hang on
work. We don't work with the same clients anyway.
No, we don't, Danny.
But
We don't.
I want to be at that level where I have my own pool of, clientele at that level. But I'm getting into that whole thing now of design, and I'm phoning our structural engineer now, and I'm like, mate,
Poor fella.
Poor fella.
Poor fella.
He's getting phone calls left, right, and centre. I'm like, mate, it's like 2 or 3 weeks now. What's going on? He's like, mate.
Yeah.
I'm like, mate, it's
Approvals, submitting drawings.
yeah, and it
it's
just seems like it goes to one fella to another, and this is
nobody
where
wants to make a decision, but everyone's in a certain role, and it's just.
But this is where I'm starting to learn a little bit now, and as Eminent's getting to that point now where we're dealing with bigger contracts,
I'm sure it's like a job that I won there last November or October, I think it was. A big architectural metalwork job. They're looking stuff on site in November, and sure, they're not even out of the ground, and you're on the phone looking because you're obviously going to be doing it. Hopefully for me, doing the metalwork, and when can I get the drawings? And I'm going, Danny. We haven't even started.
And you can't get excited, can you?
No,
Can't even survey
to be honest,
the job,
the excitement from the business comes from, we have that.
But that has a knock-on effect for us as fabrication companies because your workshop's going to be quiet.
Yeah.
So you have overheads to pay, you have wages to pay, and things like that.
We're the
Nobody
same.
understands that.
Yeah,
you know
we're
what I mean?
trying to push it now. And,
Exactly.
Clients like, listen, we're in the same boat as you. We need to try and get things moving. But it's just, as we get into that level, I'm just understanding that a little bit now. But the way that I look at it now is, I remember when we used to tender for jobs with yourselves 5 or 6 grand. I think the one that we done in France, we done a job in France
That's
for
right,
you.
yeah.
That was, I don't know, 11 grand or something. And oh my God, 11 grand in France. Brilliant.
So you made the style and fitted in France as well, didn't you?
We did, yeah, but it was a
Yeah.
bit of a nightmare in the end. It was a bad job. But
So you made a fortune.
no, actually,
I don't feel like we did.
no, that was one of the jobs that we actually in the last
We
2 years. I
lost,
think that was
I
one of the
think.
only jobs that we actually
Yeah.
lost money on. Yeah, it was just
Lucky you.
yeah. I know, just
Always Fabrite jobs we lose on.
Fabrite. But
I
Always.
wouldn't say that. No, I
yeah,
wouldn't
no,
say
I
that.
think we were used to be happy with like 11, 12, 13 grand jobs,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden we're getting tenders looked at here. Now I think the last 5 big jobs that we've looked at have been in excess of £350,000.
Yeah.
And obviously the one that me and you spoke about as well that we're looking at potentially for you, that's going to be a large sum as well.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
just think that for me is the encouragement. Probably the same yourself. Once this type of stuff that you do, but then obviously once you start the Titanic, like you said, it's a multi-million-pound job.
Yeah.
And I think once you start getting them the little wins in progress, but the big wins in value. And I think once you get
But
that,
you got to watch the big projects as well, though, because if you start getting one and you start getting two, then you have to start recruiting more people.
Yeah.
And then
the
you
cash flow then.
start cash flow. You start losing control of the job. You start making mistakes. And
Yeah.
listen, it's all about suppose risk and reward.
How do you do that? Because obviously I know you sub out a lot of stuff, obviously, but how do you manage that all the time? Because effectively your clients, who are all top tier clients, are all coming to Fabrite, and then obviously the way they know that you sub it out anyway. Do you mean? But
Like,
how
it's we've
how
got
do you manage that type of level
we've
all
got-
the time?
it's to be honest that we probably are a wee bit widespread in regards to management on the ground. We're lucky enough we've got 2 good guys, or 3 actually. Nigel, Sam, and Dean now on. Well, Nigel and Sam both directors, but Dean's now on board.
Yeah.
And the guys are on the move Monday
All
to
the
Friday all the time.
Yeah.
And to be fair to them, they maybe have 3 or 4 jobs on a time. Now, one might only be 30 grand, but the other one might be 300, 400,000. And it's trying to program them in a way that they all follow suit. But as we're talking about there, that doesn't work. And again, meeting client expectations. If you promise them a date that something's going to be there, it has to be there. Because if it's 1 day, 2 day late, they're on the emails, you're delaying the job, you're letting people down. Again, it comes down to site. So again, it's about trying to have meetings and trying to give different project to guys who are coming maybe a wee bit free in work, or who are overloaded, pass that on to such and such and things like that there. But listen, we're not perfect. Nobody's
Did
perfect.
you just shake your head at that, as if to be like, yeah, no, you're not.
I
you
don't
know-
think. I don't think it's.
No,
I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think any company does every
nobody's
single
perfect,
job.
but
There's too many
again,
variables.
There is, and it's just it's about managing the client expectations, and that's what it comes down to. Because to be honest with you, most of our work is through repeat business.
Yeah.
We don't have business development.
No.
Shouldn't probably really be saying this, but I don't really go hunting for work. Work sort of comes to us, tenders come to us, but that's because of how good of a job we've done previously.
Yeah.
The
And then
reputation.
maybe the personnel we've on the job, the client maybe likes that certain project manager, or they've helped them out here, and that's how it sort of keeps going. So we're lucky enough in that regard. So you need to keep these people happy, or that will just stop.
See, because you've obviously had experience now of running your first big job. I know it was a bit different because it wasn't the full construction, but it was I don't know if you're aware, but obviously she had the Amazon job for herself.
You told me that time, sure, we met
Yeah,
over
and there
in
was
Belfast.
100 lads on site for 25 weeks and stuff. And I'm still not, I still haven't had that where I've had to run, not like yourself, where you've had the full package and you've had to run the whole lot. Megan's had a sniff at it with the Amazon with 100 men.
It's challenging, listen, it's not an easy battle.
I sit here sometimes and I look at these big numbers on the spreadsheet and I go, wow, do you know what I mean? That's great. But then the reality of it takes a lot out of someone running these accounts. We've had chats. The 3 of us here are all kind of cut out of the same cloth. We work tirelessly.
Yeah.
We can phone any time, Monday to Sunday, and we'll probably still have something work related on our minds, or we'll be in the office, or we'll be doing something.
She phoned me on Saturday at 11:30. I was sitting in the office doing work. Well, lads, what are you doing? In the office, mate.
Yeah, you were in work on Saturday, weren't you?
But I think it's just it's at that level where you just need to.
You have to live and breathe the business
It's a
life.
lifestyle, isn't it?
You've just hit it in the head,
Yeah.
Megan. It is a lifestyle, and it's just you're cut out for it or you're not, unfortunately, you know. It just
we've
is what it
touched on
is.
that before, haven't we? So, and some people just don't get it. And,
No.
They don't get it, you know. People go to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5,
Leave
go home
it,
with a
yeah.
wage, you know.
We talk
You
about-
sent me a thing, sorry to interrupt, Danny, about directors and, you know, when people say to you about leaving work early and you're going, well,
Yeah.
are you answering that phone call at 11 o'clock at night? Are you replying at 10:30 at night in emails? And just as you said, they just don't understand.
It's like commercial director vibes
Yeah,
that I'm not involved in.
Well, sure, you don't answer the phone anymore. You're too busy holidaying it up.
But it's true, because I think sometimes people do, especially like, you know, some of the guys on the shop floor, like if you come in an hour late, they're looking at you as if to be like,
You've 6 heads.
yeah. And
Why
I'm
are you late?
thinking,
You should have been here at 9.
do you know, like,
Or 8:05,
you
9?
probably find it the same. I'll wake up at 2:30 in the morning and think, oh shit, I haven't sent that email.
yeah.
And I'll start emailing clients 2:30 in the morning. They must think I'm insane. But it's because it's in your mind.
You just got to get rid of it out your mind straight away.
Well, that just rings a bell for me as in New York last February, and obviously the time difference or time zones, you know, and I was jet lagged and things like that, and I was lying in bed wide awake, and it was like 5 or 4 or 5 in the morning in New York, and I was on the phone on emails. We couldn't sleep, you know, but it's nearly like a habit, you know. You just open up emails, Frig, who's that, reply, and think, you know, things like that.
I
but
remember Sam,
what it
your
is.
project manager, ringing me, and I was on holiday.
Sam Moffat
Legend, rang
yeah.
me, and it rang twice, and he hung up straight away. And I rang him back and was like, "Did you want me, Sam?" He was like, "Yeah, but there was an international dialing tone. I thought you were on holiday." I was like, "No, it's all right. What do you want?" And he was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, what do you want?"
I know. That man, that happened to me last week with him. He was away skiing, and I don't know, I phoned him, this French or whatever came up on the answer
you're
phone,
like, oh,
but
no.
then he phoned me back and he was going up a ski lift or something. So, I know it's
a way of life,
it is,
isn't it?
unfortunately. It's tiring.
Yeah, well, this is another thing that we always say about, you know, a lot of these companies that are starting up and, you know, they have this idea that they're going to do this and everything. I think the companies that do things on the people that do things that exceed expectations are always the ones that push a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I know subcontractors that have worked for us for a long time now, and they're happy to do Monday to Friday, phones off at 5 o'clock, that's it, done. And that's fine.
Yeah, that's
what they want to do.
Fair enough.
But then you'd also see people who were doing that a year before, and now all of a sudden they've got 15, 16 lads, and they're just on it, and they're just like, okay. I think people in business need to understand that there is a point where you have to make that decision. You either give it your all and be fully in, or you go, do you know what? I'm happy where I am. I'm comfortable, and let's just and let me do that.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, and I don't think there's many people. You know, people look at from the outside. You know, I always say this about the social media, and a lot of people that know me from the tools and stuff like that. They look at me now and go, "Wow, you know, wow, you're so successful. You're this and that." I'm just like, mate, you haven't got a clue. Like,
you don't know what's meant to get to here. You know what I mean?
You don't understand. You only see the success. You haven't seen all the
hard work,
all the hard work and stuff. I think there's that silly thing.
Yeah, it's like blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
though, isn't it? Like,
I know Megan's, you know, early in her engineering career now. You know, she's right at the deep end, dealing with clients, multi-million-pound projects, right down to silly stuff, booking accommodation for the lads, and it's just relentless. And it's just, you know, and fair play to Meg. You know, she comes in every day, and she'll walk in late, and sometimes I go, "What time do you call this?" And she'll be like, "Don't. I've been up since 6 doing this. My first phone call was 5:45, and my last phone call." It is, yeah. And I think that's just a major thing that people need to understand. That you know, people might look at us three on this couch here now and go, "Jesus Christ, you know, one's 36, and you know the other two aren't even."
You're not 36, are you?
Yeah, old. I
thought he was older. That's why he's wearing his hat, guys, because he's losing his hair.
He referred to himself as young earlier, and I was looking at him thinking,
he stopped at the house for a shave to make himself look younger.
I had to knock the fluff off to make myself look a bit younger.
I goes picture your head out the window, Dan, to be all right. Blow it off.
That's why I always have the cap on, all the greys are seeping through.
I can't talk about mine anyway.
No,
okay.
but you know what? People look and they might go, "Oh my God," do you know what I mean? Like, you know, they must be great. And I think a lot of people, especially on social media and stuff, you know, they see this. Social media is bullshit. Stop believing everything that you see. You know, yes, we're doing well. Yes, we're winning jobs. But think about the flip side of it.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
think about, you know, I think you touched on it as well. You know, you'd be out, you know, you'd be watching the rugby. You'd be with your partner. You'd be with your mates, and it's your phone is just constant. And
it
it's
is. You know,
and I think there's a fine line that people need to get to, because I struggle with it myself quite a lot. because I'm so involved and I'm got a very strong feeling you're not going to be far off it yourself. When you're so in depth in your, and it consumes your life, anxiety for me is a big thing, because I start getting a bit panicky when people, like, you go to a family party or a family whatever and they go, how's things? And all I talk about is work.
Yeah,
and I can see them people. I think it was Stephen Bartlett, The Diary of a CEO. I started listening to his podcast a while back and he said the same thing, that he had this anxiety about it and he just knew that people didn't want to ask him, and he could see it in the face. They would just ask him to be nice,
just to create conversation and things like
and
that.
he didn't want to respond back to them because no one gives a shit. Like these people, family members who might work in a call centre, might do this. They go to work and they don't understand, and after a while, it's like, oh, don't ask Daniel about his work. All he'll do is bore you, or all he'll do, and that's just unfortunate. That's the way it is.
Well, my family would be a bit, well, not most of the family would be a bit different. Like my mum and dad, like the dad's worked very hard. Like, he's a taxi driver in Belfast, and my mum, she did work until I was born, and my sister, and they are engaged in what I do and where I'm going in life. But sometimes they don't really understand the amount of work I'm doing, and I don't know how to say it. My dad, he was when he did before the taxi, he was a 9 to 5. And after 5, if he wasn't there, he wasn't getting paid. Where I'm in the office to 8, 9, half 9 at night, and there's no real extra money, not an hourly rate, things like that. And he's going, well, you're a nut job but as you say, it's a way of life, and we're just sitting, but then he starts to understand. But they would be quite engaged, but listen, I don't really have a massive family in regards to that, and as I said, I've been a very good upbringing and whatnot, but I haven't came from like a wealthy background in regards to that.
Do you think your background, obviously, with your dad doing a 9 to 5, I've met
that's right, taxi. That's right.
I've met his dad
he
before.
brought us to Belfast.
What is going on? You are part of the Morris family.
He's called Trevor as well.
Big Trev.
Big Senior.
Big Trev. Well, obviously, he was having his house decorated. Obviously, just moved house and stuff.
Hey, Big Trev.
No,
Little Trev.
Little Trev was having his house done, and he had a few friends there, and they were doing the garden and stuff. And his dad popped in and stuff. And it was the first time I met him. And
what, you crashed TJ's little housewarming party?
Well, no, it wasn't a housewarming. It was when I was over there, but he was at work done to the house.
Dad, so Tiffany's dad and my dad were up. I think they were putting in the washing machine. I can't even remember what they were doing in the kitchen. And then they says, the party turned up and they says, right, we're away. And then my dad, as I said, he's a taxi driver, so he came and lifted us and took us in the Belfast. But what you're going to go on to is...
what I was going to say was, obviously, there's a bit of it, same with me, same with Meg, obviously growing up and stuff. Do you think looking at like your mum and dad with, let's just say, your 9 to 5, your dad's a taxi driver now, so he's probably out long hours and stuff to earn money. Do you think that drives you on a little bit to go, do you know what, like, I look at my dad, and I remember you saying about your mum and other people, I looked at, their family and think, do you know what, like, I've got a chance here and I just want to make the most of it, and I just want to try and... I
think my upbringing has probably been why and who I am today. I don't know how cringe or how gay that sounds, but, my father didn't really have a great upbringing and he had to do everything he could, to get where he was. And my mum, she had a good enough upbringing and things like that. But, like, they worked for everything we had and we were their life, and my parents, they took no shit, and I wasn't allowed to mess about, or, well, not to mess about, but I was always kept in the right line and vision and driven. Probably one thing you don't know, I done karate from the age of 4 and I'm a black belt, so that was one thing.
Didn't tell me that when I was kicking off down the phone.
No, that's
never argue with Trevor again.
No, that's it. Next time you want to knock me account, just leave it. You just take the money off.
Not many people know that. It was actually 13.
I wonder why I turned up to yours the other week and you had like one of the teriyaki bands around your head. He had that in his living room waiting for me to turn up.
But again, that put discipline into me, of sticking at a sport. And I find in business or in working with a team, coming from a sporting background and knowing how to talk to people and being a team environment helps you be successful and helps you drive forward. We find at Fabrite or my personal things as well, somebody who really isn't involved in sport from a young age, aren't quite... I
think it's the interaction, isn't it?
Did you play sport?
Well, no, I'm not saying that. This isn't personal, but this is just how we feel, if you know what I mean.
Well, funny enough, Okay.
And I play rugby as well, so
funny
karate
enough,
is an
I done
individual thing. But
kickboxing from the age of 11 till about 15. And
Served you well.
I was at a pretty decent standard. I remember, going to like the British Nationals and stuff like that. It was pretty good. But I think I got to about 16. I was playing football at the same
yeah,
time.
well, that's what happened to me. I was doing karate and rugby, and then I had to make a decision when I left 5th year, was to go, well, I stay at the
I was
karate.
shit at both, so I just...
I was bang average at both as well,
Just
but
give them
I just
both
went
up.
to rugby because I was going to rugby school and chance to win the school's cup and things, and just, again, the crack was good within a team environment, well, I was going to say pints and going out, but you didn't really do that at that age.
I think it's... I think that socialising type of thing,
Yeah.
I think our industry, I remember touch on it when I was an apprentice. I'm quite outgoing. I
know that.
Yeah, I'm a bit like a chameleon. I can go into different situations and I can feather it out and I can kind of, work myself into that situation. But I think you have to be at a certain thing. We've had really good people I've worked with who have been really quiet, haven't really been out there. And then I've also worked on...
in their shell,
Yeah.
it's hard to crack.
Bit like me.
Yeah, yeah, imagine. But then I also remember...
Fight, go on.
I remember being...
I'm sorry, here. Danny won't be quiet. Don't let Megan speak.
But then I remember being on sites where there was the camaraderie with the lads. Now, I remember being on the tours. I used to love that because it was just like, the banter, and...
The crack was good, and that's how you got on, and you're joking about, get that done from here, fucking rise up, get
but
that.
like you said before, though, about, the way that the business is set up, you've got different people at different ages. And like you said, the clients...
But people who don't do sport, I don't want to sound...
Megan.
discriminate, but they're good at maybe other things in the business.
Yeah.
What can help?
Like what? What am I good at?
Don't know.
We're still trying to find out.
I'm on zeros under your fucking invoices.
Putting a zero on the invoice. I'll do another one of them, thank you.
He knocks it off anyway, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, does
Red
it?
pen.
Puts you on, he still knocks them off.
But
I know
our
what you're saying.
people is massive. They get a good team around you. You need good people around you who are going to believe and are passionate in what to do, and that will help everyone.
Where you said before
successful.
about the clients that you deal with, sometimes they like working with a certain project manager because they have that relationship together.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
And I think that's how Eminent and Fabrite have kind of grew, because we had that together.
Definitely,
So you liked working with me because we'd done you the favour and we looked after your company. And as we're getting a bit more now, we've come friends, and now it's a bit more...
Friends?
It's a bit more...
best friends, Megan. Friends is a light word.
We're friends.
I was just playing those drum sack like that. Drum set.
Edit that out there.
Drum sack, did I say?
He did, didn't he? He did. I thought you said something else.
There's something about a sack in there. I know. I feel sick. Oh no, I was going to put my sack on your drum set.
You'd have to be playing my drum set.
No, but I think that's an important thing. I think that's building relationships with people,
100%, Donnie, yeah.
and always trying to do your best and just let it unfold, and wherever it'll lead, it will lead. And I think that is a perfect,
Oh, how cute.
a perfect way to finish.
No, definitely.
Now, but before we finish, right?
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. The famous jar. People are liking this jar now. I think it's
I
a
know,
great idea.
I think you need to shuffle it properly.
I know, we're going to shuffle. We're going to
No,
give it a
sure, he's
shuffle.
already pulled out all the good ones and
No,
give me all
you've
the
got
shit
to
ones.
Putting the old ones
No,
back in.
He forgets what he's done.
Oh, don't. I've taken what?
Old age.
Yeah, it's bad.
Memory problems.
Sticking to the zero one.
Well, you're banned tonight, so it's okay.
No,
You're
but,
around.
so listen, we've had a few people over the last couple of weeks and stuff, obviously before we set up the podcast, who wanted to know certain questions about business, our business, and just, setting up.
Like life in general.
Well,
Life in
I
general.
don't like being put in the spot
So,
here, so
well, we're going to take one of them out the
You
jar.
need to
Just anyone,
dive right in though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Give it a shuffle, take one card out, and let's see what you get given. What is it
Oh
going?
no.
MMA, boxing and sport.
Okay, that's not too...
What?
That's MMA, boxing and sport.
So what's this?
Well, that's not very
So
inclusive.
what's this mean?
No, you need to choose another one.
You're going to choose... I'm just going to edit that one out then.
Well, so what's this mean?
Just MMA
Just talk
boxing.
about it, fucking hell.
I know,
want me
don't
to-
talk about that there, because you can
No.
talk about Conor McGregor and
I don't
Tyson
know what
Fury
MMA
and...
boxing means.
Well, you're involved in it. Do you like it? Or
No,
fuck
no.
it off? Did you watch the Jake Paul fight? No. Jake,
Did you not know? Did you not watch it? No.
We were
was
going to talk
asleep.
about it until fucking Megan just ruined it, but Jacob would just edit that one out.
No, I thought that was quite funny.
You
Yeah, I think it was funny.
Yeah, leave it in.
Alright, so
Fuck
we're
it.
going to go for another one then.
Right,
Right,
yeah,
try
dive
it.
a bit better. Like, you're going to have to...
Do you want to pick it? Or is
No,
it the
you
guest?
pick it.
Give me the
You
fucking
take
colour.
that jab.
Maybe I'll take
And
another
if
one.
Meg doesn't like it, she just ruin it anyway. Just say no.
Don't look at them. He just
Don't be
pulls
looking.
one
Look,
eye
it was
and
a
put it
fucking-
back.
Jen, always the same. Go on, what have you got?
What is your biggest fear?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Biggest
she doesn't like
fear?
this. You don't like any of them, do you? Okay,
I've got too many.
So what is your biggest fear in...
Fuck, you may go first because I'll need to have a think.
I've got one. No, I have actually really got one.
Biggest fear?
Dying. Straight up dying in a bad way. Like, I wouldn't mind dying in a nice, peaceful way when I'm like 85.
Or like drowning or electric
well,
shock or
well,
something.
Jesus Christ, don't want that. But what I,
I think
mean
you're gonna go.
is,
I think you're gonna go like Final Destination way. Like, I reckon
fuck off, no, that's what I mean.
I come out of here in a wagon and just go.
No, so what?
Yeah.
if there's a god.
No, that's me.
Yeah, to be fair, I need to start invoicing on Friday, so try on Monday.
No,
And you
dying,
get that money in.
but dying in not a very nice way. So, although I did go to a psychic not that long ago, me and Sophie went, and she did say to me that I don't know whether this is why I'm scared. I don't know if I believe it. But she said in a past life I was locked in a cupboard and set on fire.
Oh, for
and I was
Jesus
about,
Christ.
and I was aged about 12. But she did tell me in this
And
life.
then you woke up.
Yeah, and then she said in this
Dream.
life I'll die about 80 from a heart attack, which is fine.
Are you
But-
happy with that?
Yeah.
You've gone from being, set on fire in a cupboard to
Yeah.
heart attack.
But what I'm scared of is dying A, in a horrific way, but B, like dying before I've done everything I want to do in life.
Okay.
And I haven't done everything I want to do
You
in
haven't. You're
life
still
yet.
young. What about you, T?
Yeah.
You go
what's
first, mate. I'm trying to think.
What do you mean? You're not scared of anything?
I know that's
No,
it.
I think he's got. I think he's just
I
trying
know
to figure it out.
yours.
Go on. What?
Straight up, know yours.
Go on then.
The mice in the office.
I know
Oh,
what-
I'm going
them
to insert
fucking
the
mice.
video of you. I'm going to send it to Jacob and send the video of you discovering that mice nest in the office.
Oh my god! So obviously we're right back behind the field, and we got told there was a couple of mice and stuff. And then I was just sat there in the office one day and I seen the mouse run. I was only field mouse. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking like a rat or nothing, but it was a field mouse. And as I pulled out the folders
From the cupboard.
there was two, and they just had about 7 or 8 kids, and it was just
No,
everywhere.
it was
Everywhere, madness.
carnage.
It was grim.
It was horrible.
But I'd say, I don't know, if I had to really think about it and go into it, for the sake of the podcast, I think, what was it, biggest fear? I think the biggest fear is that failure, I reckon.
I was
Yeah.
I had that in my head there. Fear,
Oh,
but
we can't both have the same
no,
fear.
but my other fear too is the creepy crawlies and things like that. There
Really?
spiders and things. I just wouldn't be great with them, but fuck, that's a hard enough question to
Yeah.
be put in the spot.
I just think, man, the fear of failure and just
letting people down.
letting people down and stuff, I think. But
Oh, I don't care about letting people down, really.
You don't have many
no,
friends.
you waltz in. The podcast is meant to start at a certain time. You come to like a minute before it, and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "I'm early."
Every
Well,
single
it's just
time.
4 minutes late today, so it
Yeah, I
doesn't
know,
really
Yeah.
every time. But that's early. You want to see her in the office, strolls in, an hour or two late.
Why, but she was working, remember?
Oh,
Till
she was
11
working,
o'clock at
yeah,
night
yeah,
or
yeah.
6
Last
o'clock in the
night,
morning.
yeah.
Absolute bullshit.
Fuck
Fuck off.
Absolute bullshit.
Rude.
No, biggest fear, probably creepy crawlies and failure, probably.
Yeah, okay,
Seeing
spot on. Well,
yourself.
listen, I want to say thanks for coming on. I
Thanks,
know you're
Tim.
completely out of your comfort zone and you've come all the way from Ireland
All the
today.
way?
It's a long way. It's a long way.
It's a
40
40-minute
minute
flight.
Hell,
It's quicker coming here than it's going to Dublin.
Yeah.
to be fair, you still got here before Meg.
It took me longer than 40 minutes to pick him up from the airport.
I
No,
know.
but listen, I want to say thanks, and I do appreciate it, and we really look forward to working with you throughout the year.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Long may it continue, guys. You
Well,
know,
fun.
Thank you. I need to
and
do
thank
my
you,
little-
guys.
Thank you very much.
So, to close up today's episode, we would just like to give a special mention to one of our contractors, Nathan Roberts. So, Nathan's a really valued member of the Eminent team. And on the 31st of May last year, he was involved in quite a serious road traffic collision. Nathan was in a coma for 2 months in a hospital in Manchester. And about 4 weeks ago, he got moved to a neuro rehabilitation centre in Rochdale. He's making amazing progress. I think at one point his parents were actually told that if he woke up, he'd be in a completely vegetative state. And obviously he's doing amazing,
really well.
really well. And all he keeps saying to me is, I can't wait to get back on the tools, Megan. So in light of that, every single sort of the NHS funds a lot of Nathan's rehab journey, but not all of it. And one of the centres that he has to go to every session has a price attached to it that needs to be funded somehow. So a few of the team at Eminent Group have decided that we are going to do attempt the 3 Peaks Challenge.
3 Peaks.
Which is, now let me get this right, Ben Nevis, Scaffold Pike and Snowdon in 24 hours. And we're going to do that on the 31st of May this year, so exactly a year on from Nathan's accident, just to raise as much money as we possibly can for Nathan's rehab journey. And I know he loves watching the podcast, so hi Nathan.
Hi Nathan.
And we'll come and see you soon. So if you could donate, or if I'm sure a lot of people watching this will know Nathan, if you're a client of ours, or if you've worked alongside Nathan on any of our jobs, if you could donate, then we would all be very much appreciative.
Yeah. Nathan, look forward to seeing you soon and getting you back with the team at Eminent.
Yeah. Miss you, Nate.
Bye-bye.
Bye.